This is Danny with QuadLugs, and we're going to be building the 380 Sport in a little bit different version, meaning that the EFC, the 4-in-1 that we're using, or if you're using separate ones, is actually going inside the body, and the controls or the control board's going to be in there also. So the only thing that is going to be on the bottom is the battery, or the battery can be moved underneath the canopy if you wish, and the bottom will be totally clean. So let's get started, and you'll see a little bit more what I'm talking about here in a second. So we'll go ahead and get the motor arm lug on, and on this build version, we're not going to be gluing these. We're only using one instead of the two of the body supports. And we're going to put them like this. This is the bottom, so we want this to be on the bottom and this to be the tab to be on top. And we have a little bit of flash on here. It normally comes off, with your fingernail. Get this one ready, and we'll go ahead and get another one. Okay, we'll do the same. We'll put the tab on top, this being the bottom. The tab's going to go on top. We'll slide that on. And the flash, like I said, normally it just comes off with your fingernail. Good. There we go. And we'll put these pieces here for the body are 5 1/4 inches long. And again, all this information's on the on our site. On each, for each quad actually, on each product page toward the bottom, along with some of the motors and stuff that I've used. Actually, along with all the items that I used. Put this like this and move it back a little bit. There we go. Now we're going to turn them over. And I had cut the body out earlier. You'll get a template and you'll get the flat wood. We use basswood on everything. I use a little bit of glue stick and put it on the back side, put it on there and cut it out. And I'm going to go ahead and get my drill. It's charging right now, but I'll grab it and we'll drill these holes. Okay. We're going to use an 1/8 inch bit. If you've been watching these videos, you know this is all the same. And we're going to go ahead and drill these holes. I'll get something and sand it off a little bit. And we're going to go ahead and take this template off now. whenever you get these kits, you know, I would just go ahead and make a copy of the template and make sure that it, you know, came out 1-to-1. You know, it's an accurate copy. And actually, I'd make a couple of them just in case you have a miscut or you know, something gets messed up, then you'll have it for future use. Now, this is going to, we need to move these around, the body support lugs, and get them to fit in these. So there we go. And be kind of careful because you can break these off at this point. Now, if you do, you can just use thin CA and then you know, put it back on and it'll be fine. Now, after it's together, it's very, very tough. You're not going to have a problem with it anymore. But in this stage, it's kind of fragile. You can put these crossover pieces. This is 1/4 by 1/2. And we're going to fit this together. And again, we'll have to move these body support lugs here a little bit to get them to match up. When you get it just right, it'll slide together. You know you're all the way in when the sides are flush. And that's how it should be. Each side should be flush. And then you should be good here, good here, good here, good here, meaning flush. If one's sticking out, you may have to push the wood in, you know, to even it up. At this point, you want to make sure that's all cool before you start drilling these holes. You can even these up if you want to. You know, I normally do that, but you can push them to one side if you want to. It's a lot easier than trying to move them just a little bit. You see, you can kind of mess with it for a little while to try to get it in the center. But let's see what we can do. There we go. Let's try this one. There we go. Like I said, that's totally your option. To one side or the other is definitely okay and definitely easier. You'll see it'll go too far one way and then let's see. There we go. This one's good. So we're pretty good there. And again, we'll make sure this is pushed in. And again, you can tell because it's going to be flush on the sides. There we go. And that's looking pretty good. Still good there. Here, here. Just a little bit more on this one. Let's push it over. There we go. Here also. Feels good there. Okay, let's go ahead and get these two screws in to start locking it in. And we're going to drill a 1/16 inch hole. You don't have to go all the way through the 1/2 inch wood, you know, just maybe halfway or so is good. If you go all the way through, it won't hurt nothing at all. Now we're going to go ahead and use 5/8 long screws here. And you can use the drill to do it. Again, I'm not a big fan of real big drills used on this. A hobby grade drill is actually, I think, the best thing to do, but you can You know, if you're using a big drill, get it pretty much in and then finish it off by hand, or just do it by hand is actually the best way. Okay, that's got that locked in. Now we have two here, and we're going to use 3/8 inch screws. That's an odd one. Again, all the screws come with the kit, and if you're buying lugs only, they also come with the lugs. Now, if you ever need them, they're number 4, by whatever length we're using, like 5/8, we just use them. This is 3/8. And these can be, you know, you can get this at your local hobby shop. You can definitely get them from us, or you can go to Lowe's or Home Depot and pick them up, or your local hardware store. Real common. Go ahead and get that put in. That's starting to lock this thing together. And we're going to go ahead and put these in here. That's going to lock the arms to the crossover piece. And again, we're going to use a 1/16 inch bit. And again, you don't have to go very far into it. You're going into, you know, 1/4 plus the 1/8. So you don't have to go too far in. Okay. We're going to go ahead and use 3/8 inch or 3/8 long screws again. Now you're going to be threading through this nylon reinforced or glass reinforced nylon, so you know sometimes you gotta use a little bit of force to get it in, because it's some tough stuff. There's holes already pre-drilled there on this side. The other side it's not. If you wanted to screw it in from the other side, you can just run a screw through, drill through 1/16 inch and then bit, and then come this side and, you know, fasten it that way if you didn't want the screw heads on the bottom. Good, good. Okay. Starting to lock it all together. It's already making it really, really strong. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and mess with the legs on this. We'll go ahead and get these pushed together. And you want to make sure that these are pushed all the way, so you don't, you know, have it rocking on your landing gear. And a good way to check and make sure they're all consistent, you can just do this number right here. And if they match up, then you know that's going to be good. And I see this one. There we go. And that looks good. And that one looks good there. Good to go. Now, what we want to do, if you want the screws all on one side, we're going to get our 1/8 inch bit again. There we go. And you have one hole drilled in each leg or foot. But if you want the screws on both sides, you're going to have to drill on 2 of them, one on the other side. And if you've built the kits before, you know that there's a circle right here, and that's where I think a pin pushes it out of the mold when it's injected. And you go in the center of that, and it'll line up perfectly with this one right here. So it's real easy to do, no measuring. Now I'm just going through the plastic. Actually, you should do that before you put the wood in. But if you're going to do it with the wood there, just, you know, make sure you just go through the plastic. Or actually, if you fall short of going through the plastic, it's fine too. Okay. Now we'll get our 16th inch bit again, and we're going to go ahead and get our pilot holes drilled. And again, you don't have to drill all the way through, you know, maybe halfway through. Will be good. And we're going to use 5/8 long screws again on this. And the 380 can build identical to this. The only thing, the straight 380 or the regular 380, is that these arms here are going to be longer. I think they're like 7 3/4 inches. So they're going to come out to where you can put a 90 on, and you'll have a 90s on either side. So that's pretty much the difference on that. Let's go ahead and I want to make sure I orient these things properly here. Okay, so before we put these on, we're going to go ahead and get this drilled out. It's a lot easier to do it this way. Now, if you've watched our videos, build videos, you know that we have a quick build guide, and there's like, I think 8 to 10 videos on each section, and they're, you know, only like 5 or 6 minutes a piece, so they're easy to go through. And it shows you how to prep each piece. And that's real handy. I would definitely, you know, take a look at that and before you started building. It really helps. Now what we're going to do, we've ignored all of that, and we haven't looked at any of it. We're going to be doing it as we go, the prep work. Not much prep work, but there's a little bit to do. On these motor arms, there's a screw in here that hasn't been processed, so, or a hole rather that hasn't been processed. So whenever we drill this through, we're going to be drilling through the wood, and we'll be drilling through this glass reinforced nylon, and that's our nut receptor there. So, but you still have this hole to do. Also, when we start putting the feet on our landing gear, we're going to have to drill a hole here to accept the screw to hold it on. Not much to do, but it is a couple of things. And like I said, normally we do that ahead of time, but we're going to do it as we go this time. So these are, I think, what, 5-inch long? Yes. The motor arms are 5 inches long. And you want to make sure that these are pushed all the way in. Everything you do, you just want to make sure. And you can feel it when it bottoms out. And it's all the way. But sometimes it takes a little pressure. Now, what we're going to do, we're going to get our 1/8 inch bit, and we're going to drill through the wood here, through this wood here, and like I was showing you a second ago, through this bottom layer of this arm. Now, this acts as a bit guide. So when you start drilling, it doesn't take very much pressure at all. It'll kind of guide itself through, and you know, take care of that. So we'll hold this down. We'll put this on and hold it down. And we're going to go ahead and drill through. Like I said, not much pressure is needed, and have it fairly straight this way. When you get through this wood here and you get to this piece here, it'll guide your bit straight. And I just felt it there. There we go. Now when you get all the way down to, and you'll feel it when you get through the wood and you're to the glass reinforced nylon, there it takes just a little bit of pressure and it'll go on through. So, I'm going to clean all the residue out. Now, I normally use the 1/16 inch bit just to kind of, you know, do that number. And then you want to make sure it's all out of the teeth there. Now, one thing I didn't say prior, but I did check it, is that before you drill this on any of them, you want to make sure your wood's flush and, you know, that you're happy with it. And that this piece is all the way in, because right now this piece can move a little bit this way. Not much, but a little bit. So just double check this before you drill it, and that way, you know, you'll have a real nice job. So we're going to go ahead and put this arm on that we just drilled, and I like to do each one at a time. That way, you know everything's locked in. This is not going to move on you. This, when you put this screw in, it locks this side in, or this particular one, so you know you're not going to have any more movement with it when you drill the others. Put the washer on, and we'll go ahead and get this started. Now I'm going to put this at 60 degrees, and that's from the front back. So these will rotate in 15-degree increments. So that's 15, 30, 45, 60. Now, you know, a lot of people run them at 45, no problem there. In fact, I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's just, that's 45. So 15, 30, 45, same thing this way. 3 clicks. So let's just do 45. We can always change them. After everything's together and you're flying it at the field, if you have a Phillips screwdriver, it takes you about 2 seconds. You can loosen it up, you can kick it over a notch or two. You can try different things out. So again, we're going to make sure we're happy with all this here. We're going to do this one. Double check that this is all the way down. Hold that 1/8 inch bit. I'm at the glass, the nylon, and there it went through. Easy to tell. Now I have to help my bit out, because if you've been watching the videos or seen any of these, it doesn't want to stay into the drill very well, but I really like this drill, and so I take care of it. Okay, getting the wood shavings out. That's all good. We're going to do the same thing here. That's good. And that's good. Let's go ahead and get a washer and a screw. And we'll put our nut in the receptor. Now after this prep work's done, if you ever use this on another one, or you know, take this one apart, move the parts to another, the lugs to another, 15, 30, 45. All this work is done already, the preps. I mean, it makes it a lot quicker. Although it doesn't take long to do this at all. Now I'm tightening this down a little bit, and we'll cinch it down really good when we're totally done. Again, make sure this is all the way down. We're happy here. Eighth inch bit. We're at the nylon. There we go. Or the glass reinforced nylon. put the nut in the receptor. Just looking to make sure I had the right one. We'll hold the nut there until it gets started with the finger. And there it started. 15, 30, 45. Okay, we like this one. Looks good. All the way down. That's when I was charging my drill. It's right on the verge of going. I quit. Okay. Now you get plenty of screws. You'll actually get double of these. So, you know, if you have any accidents with it, or if you strip one out, or you lose some, you have some extras. $15, $30, $45. Now, if you'll notice when you're putting this together, this sheet here, the basswood, goes on the bottom of this, the arm here, and then it goes on the top of this one. So this is the top of it, so it's going to be on the top here and the bottom here, just so you understand that. Let me go ahead and clean some of this off. Okay. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and get our motor mounts prepped. Again, we're going to use an 1/8" bit. Now you could put your screws in sideways. I just always have been doing it from the bottom. No big deal. Again, we have the circle where it pushes it out, going to the center of it. And I think maybe that's why I do it this way. It works really well, and it's just easy to do. Let me grab a towel. Whenever these come out of the mold, sometimes there'll be some of the, I guess it's a grease, and we normally try to clean them up, but we may miss some, and so I just wanted to wipe that off. But it's no big deal, it comes off. And I normally turn them toward the inside, so you can't hardly see it anyway. So we're going to put these on. We're going to put them flush with the end. There we go. Put them on the right way. Flush with the end. Yeah, flush with the end. Like I was saying before, some of the, it depends. Let me turn this around so I can get to it. Depends on humidity. That's nice and flush. Sometimes the wood will swell a little bit, or it could just be, you know, a part of a millimeter bigger than the other, and some of it will be a little bit tighter than the others. No problem. We're going to use our 1/16 inch bit again, and we're going to drill a pilot hole. Again, you know, if you go halfway or so, 1/4 inch or so, it's perfect. And we're going to use our drill again, and we're using 5/8 long screws. We're going to hope the drill makes it. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and finish this one off by hand, or do this one by hand. And we'll check all the others. Good to go. Go ahead and get the landing gear on now. Now, one thing about QuadLugs, I mean, landing gear can be any size you want. This is like 3.5, 4 inches. You can, on this one, run as little as 2 inches. Gives it a really nice look. It, you know, sits it down. So depending on what you want, or you know what the height requirements, you can you know, put it the way you want it. The neat thing about it, you can change it too. If you want this, you know, for a camera or something, and if you want a little bit taller, you can. Or if you want, you can make it shorter, and you can do that anytime you want. You can change it on the fly. Real easy to do. Now I'm going to let my drill charge up, and we'll be back, and we're going to go ahead and drill these holes and fasten this. And we're getting close to being done. We'll see in a little bit. Let me get this drill charged up. Coffee break. Okay, we're gonna see how the drill does. It hasn't been very long, about 15 minutes, but we'll see how it does. Okay, now we're gonna drill. This is part of the prep I was talking about that we normally do ahead of time on the arms, on the adjustment arms. But we're gonna do this now. And we go up about 3/8 of an inch this way, and in the center this way, and it's approximate, but you can see that's about where I'm gonna go. And we're just gonna go through the nylon, and it's really better not to have the legs in when you do this. And we'll do this one without it. So again, we're gonna go up about 3/8 and in the center this way. And about in this area right here. Okay, see if I can get my hand out of the way. There we go. Now we're going to go ahead and push these in all the way. There we go. And that one's in. And we're going to change bits here to our 1/16 inch. Drill us a pilot hole. Same thing on this side. And then we're going to use a 5/8 long screw. So you can see so far we've just been using 2 lengths of screws, and that's a 5/8 and a 3/8. Now on the battery mount we're going to use 1/4, and I think that's pretty much all the different types that we have, or different sizes on this one. Okay, we're going to do the same thing, 3/8, and then the center this way. Okay, we're going to do the same here. Okay. And again, you can adjust this length. That's one of the things about QuadLugs. You can adjust this, you can adjust this, you can adjust this, you can adjust this, you can turn this into pretty much whatever you want. 16th inch bit. And again, we're going to use a 5/8 long screw. We didn't get much of a charge in there, but hey, it's almost done anyway. There we go. Now we have our landing gear on. Now, normally, if you've looked at the build videos, you'd have this double stacked, the body support lugs, and you'd have a piece of 3-inch that goes down right here. Your ESC goes here, your battery mount goes to the bottom of the 3-inch. What we're going to do, being that we only used one, we're going to have a piece. You could use your 3-inch wood and put it here. And that's a really smart thing to do, because we're going to put the ESC underneath here, and this deck is going to cover it. But you'll have some of it exposed here, which is a really smart thing to do. And your controller can go in this area too, with your receiver here in the front or in the back, however you choose to do it. So it's really good to do that. Now what I've done, I've cut a piece, and it's 4-inch, and so I cut it down to fit. Now if you 3-inch that normally comes with this will fit right here, everything will work fine. But I'm going to use a 4-inch, and the reason I'm doing that, and I cut it snug to go, and it fits underneath, oh excuse me, it fits underneath on top of this piece here, and it fits underneath that adjustment head, so real nice fit there. And I'm doing this because my ESC can still go in here, my 4-in-1, or you could have separates. And I have a choice, put my controller here, or my controller can go in here, and I'll still have, you know, my receiver sticking out. And when I do that, now I can put my battery mount here, my battery can mount here, and my body will cover it, and we have one already like that. And we have a video on there showing it. Or a video out now showing it, and we can actually get a 6200, the multi-star 5200 will fit underneath there. Of course, the 2200s, 27s, that will all fit no problem, but the actual 5200 fits in there perfect. And then when you do that, your bottom is clean, and looks nice this way, or you can, have something else that you want to do with it. But with this, I have the option, we're putting this on here instead of the 3-inch. I have the option of doing that, put my battery here, or a little bit more room for a controller, although the 3-inch is more than enough. And put my battery mount here, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do on this one. I'm going to put my controller here, ESC's underneath here, and my battery mount's going to go under. So instead of using the 3, we're going to use the 4 and cut it down, which I have. And I put myself a mark here for the center of this and the center this way, because that's where I'm going to put my holes for my screws. And let's see if I can do, again, the smartest thing is to go ahead and just mark it and use the ruler, or a straight edge, but I'm gonna try it this way. There we go. And we'll see how it turns out. Alright. So let's see if the drill will hold together one more time. Oh, excuse me. And we're gonna use an 1/8" bit, and yeah, we're going to use an 1/8" bit and drill a hole through here. As I always say, where X marks the spot. Wow. This poor drill is done. And we're going to sand this down. I don't know if my drill's going to make it here, because we need some pilot holes here. We're going to make sure that this is flush here and here. That's the way I cut it. Like I said, you would normally get 3-inch, and the 3-inch fits on here perfect. And we'll look at that in a second. Now I'm just going to drill 2 holes in here diagonally, because I know. Well, let's see if it makes it. I never know. See, I told you I like this drill. We may have made it. Okay. And just to show you that, this is set up so the 3-inch will work perfect here, because that's normally what we put down here when we do a normal build. Okay. So you can definitely put the 3-inch. And be real honest with you, if you put the 3-inch here and you decide to put the battery up here, the battery mount will fit here, no problem at all. So this is just something I do a little bit different. When you order this one, if you intend on doing this, just leave me a note and I'll make sure you have an extra piece in there, because it's not normal to, it's not a normal item. But leave me a note when you do your order and I'll make sure. Okay. Now, while I was away and had the battery charging, I built a canopy. And this is actually, let me see, I may have this. I built a canopy. We have videos out on that. It's real easy. The guys at Mesa RC Foam Fighters, we furnish them quads, and they help us out laser cutting the bodies for us, or the canopies. But I put one together, real easy to do. They hold up really, really well. More so than you would ever think. Again, I'm using 3/8 inch long screws here. So I put one together, and we'll put it on here in a second. We had a gentleman that made a comment on one of the videos to, instead of screwing the canopies down, to use Velcro or batteries. And I think it was on the video where I showed putting a battery on the top, or using Velcro or I'm sorry, using Velcro or magnets. And I think it was on the video where I was showing that we put the battery on top. You know, that we have to we remove it, put it back on. It's no big deal with the screws, because normally we put a screw on either side. And he said a magnet or Velcro, you know. And I told him I would definitely check into it. And I'll tell you what, the magnet works great. I have it on quite a few of them now. And I'll put a tag to his site in the description. I can't remember offhand. But I just want to tell him thank you very much. That worked out real well. So this is the canopy we made. And we're going to go ahead and put it on. There we go. Now I'm going to mark this so we can see where we're going to put our magnets at. So we're about right in here. Let me see how we're going to do this. We're going to go ahead and go with it right there. Let's see if I can. Eyeball this pretty good. I think that's pretty good. It's an 1.25 inches, real close. So that's going to work out real well. Okay. And then we're going to come in from the edge to the center, probably 3/8 of an inch. And we're going to mark this 3/8. Oh, right there. Perfect. That's great. That's where it's going to go. And then same thing here. Give ourselves a mark there. And we're going to come in about 3/8. And that's going to be the center of all. There we go. So what we're going to do, we're going to use these washers. Oh, and by the way, let me go ahead and get the battery mount on here before we do that. These are the spacers that we use when we're using the battery mount for the tricopter, or if you need it for any other. And we're going to go ahead and get us about 3/4. That's about 3/4. That's about where we want to go. So let's see here. Now obviously you don't have to put all these lines on here like I do, but this was going to be shown, and you know, it's a good reference to how to build it. So we're going to go in about 2 inches. Let's see. And that's about it right there. Okay. We'll double check again. It's like 1 7/8 inches. And I think we're good. Let's just double check this way. Perfect. And we'll line that up. I think that looks good. We'll double check here and here. Now we're going to use our 1/16 inch bit again, and we're going to use 1/4 inch screws here. Now, the reason I do that so they don't go on the other side very little this way. Now, one way to do this is that you can put all 4 screws in, take them out, put a little bit of CA, thin CA, just a drop or 2 in the holes. It'll stiffen up the threads, and I'll tell you what, it really works good. This thing will hold really well like that. Now, another thing you can do is that you can, and this is normally what I do, get a little thin CA and put it on either side, and it will hold it forever. Let me grab one other screw. See if I can find a 1/4. And you can get it off of the wood if you ever want to move it, or you know, if something goes wrong and you got to replace it, the wood. You can stick a screwdriver underneath, pry it out. A little bit of wood will go with this, but you can get a knife and take it off. And I've done it a few times now, and this will survive. Just a touch there, and that's it. And I'm just doing that because that's the easiest way to do it. And then we'll wind up putting Velcro on either side here, and we'll do electronics on this one also. And you know, again, our strap that comes with this, we can put it through. Okay, so let's go ahead and get our magnets. And this takes a little while to set up, but I'm going to use CA. This works really, really good. And we'll go ahead and put some there. And we're going to put some there. Then we're going to drop the magnet on it. Center it up as best we can. That way and that way. We'll do the same here. We're going to center it up also. That actually looks pretty good. And we're going to let that dry. Now on the other side, we're using these washers, and this works really good. We're going to put the hole in the center. We're going to center it up on our marks there, and we're going to drop some CA in there. Then we're going to wind up, after that's done, we're going to put tape over it, and I tell you what, it hold it for a long, long time. We'll go ahead and do this one. we're going to let this set now, and this pretty much completes the frame. The body would go on there. The only thing we have left to do is put the Velcro and finish up our controls, or install the controls. Now let me show you. I'll move this aside, let that glue dry up. This is one that I've already built and been flying. That's the magnets. That's how they work out, and that's after it's glued down, I put tape over it, just Scotch tape over it. And I put the controller here. This is a mini KK board and a lemon receiver, and we have it tied in there. This is our ESC, our 4-in-1 ESC. This is how it comes out. And of course, that's our battery mount at the bottom. It makes a real nice setup. You can, use a Naze, or you can do NASA, or any of your controllers will fit here. No problem at all. Now, if you use a controller that has the connection sideways, not up, it'll fit underneath here also. There's room to fit it underneath. And the battery can go in this area right here, which we've done on another one. And we have that video out. So this is how it comes out. Works real good. The top fits on really good. The lid, and this is how it comes out. Really, really nice looking. I think you're gonna like it. Flies great too. Anyway, we'll see you next time on this one. We'll go ahead and do the electronics on this one. I know it's a double dupe. We've already done it on the regular build, but we'll do it again. So thanks very much for watching. This is Danny with QuadLugs. We'll see you next time.